What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video of the Point After Podcast short series. Today we're going to be discussing the round one recap from last night's NFL draft, how we think it went, what we think of the trades, what to expect in day two, and then later on today we'll be doing a couple team individualized draft recap videos if you're interested in that, as well as a round two mock draft as well. But starting off, we're going to go with basically just going to go in order here. So number one, Trevor Lawrence, as expected, to the Jaguars. I think everybody kind of expected that. No real surprise there. Zach Wilson to the Jets. Again, no surprise there. Trey Lance to the San Francisco 49ers. I think everybody kind of had it down between Trey Lance and Mac Jones. I think, in my opinion, the reason they went Trey Lance is more upside. Mac Jones is the most ready now quarterback in the draft, in my opinion, outside of Trevor Lawrence. But Trey Lance has a lot of upside. He's only 20 years old. He's not even 21. He's only played, realistically one season. He's thrown 300-something passes, 325, I think, 317, somewhere around there. So Trey Lance has a lot of upside. He's brilliant. He's really high football IQ. So that's why they took him at 3. Kyle Pitts at 4. Again, makes sense. Jamar Chase reunites with Joe Burrow. Jalen Waddle at 6. That's another good pick. They could have went Devontae Smith, but Jalen Waddle, to me, he's just a little bit. He's kind of the same as who am I talking about here? Kadarius Toney. I'll get to him in a little bit. But Jalen Waddle, to me, he's not a wide receiver. He's a playmaker. There's a difference in the two. Jamar Chase, wide receiver. Devontae Smith, wide receiver. Jalen Waddle, playmaker. Tyreek Hill, playmaker. Those are the guys that you get the ball in their hands, they're going to make something happen, and that's what you need. What you need to build your offense around, those big plays. You know, the reason the Bengals went with Jamar Chase, I don't think they had a big play all season last year, like a real impactful big play. So Jamar Chase is going to help with that. Jalen Waddle at 6 again. Penei Sewell at 7. That's kind of a surprise. I think everyone's kind of expecting them to go linebacker. You can see they need a D-line, an edge, a linebacker, corner, and a safety. So expect heavy defensive draft out of the lines going forward. But I think more or less they took it because he was available. I think Penei Sewell is a really good tackle that you don't need to pass up on. And they get that. So number 8, the Carolina Panthers, J.C. Horn. I think it was a surprise to everybody, but I think they're also sending a message to Sam Darnold like, hey, you're our guy. Because if they would have drafted Justin Fields, it immediately would have caused storylines and headlines of who's QB1, is Justin Fields going to get the starting job, yada, yada, yada. So now this basically signifies that Sam Darnold is the guy in Carolina. Patrick Surtain at 9. Again, kind of an expected pick, especially now that they have Teddy to give Drew Lock some competition. Devontae Smith at 10. Now, what a lot of people don't understand is why did the Cowboys first off trade number 10, and why did they trade within their division? They traded within their division because they were going San Francisco anyway. They were going Micah Parsons no matter what. They knew they could get Micah Parsons at 10. They knew the Eagles weren't going to grab Devontae Smith. Weren't going to grab Micah Parsons. So basically, they got the pick they wanted 2 picks later and got an extra third-round pick out of it. So it worked out for Dallas. Dallas grabs Micah Parsons at 12. The Eagles grabbed Devontae Smith at 10, which is a really, really good pick. He reunites with Jalen Hurts. Devontae Smith is a fantasy football guy that you're going to need to grab, especially if you're PPR. The Bears trade up with New York to get Justin Fields. I like it. I think you're getting Justin Fields in an environment behind Nick Foles, behind Andy Dalton, 2 of the best knowledgeable quarterbacks in the league, in my opinion. They're not like a top elite quarterback, but they know the game of football. I think Justin Fields is going to develop well under them. Expect them to see the field maybe next year. I think Andy Dalton's on a 1 year. It wouldn't surprise me if they keep Nick Foles around. And then Justin Fields starts probably next season. Rashawn Slater at 13 to LAC. Expected Elijah Vera Tucker, where the Jets traded with Minnesota to get some protection for Zach Wilson. I absolutely love that. Absolutely love that trade. Now, again, that kind of goes back to why would Minnesota trade that? Because Minnesota, where's our pick? Right there. 23, Christian Darrisaw. They got the guy they wanted. They were going tackle or edge there anyway. there's still a lot of first-round talent that they could have chose from. So the Vikings had no problem with trading back and grabbing the guy that they basically wanted. Mac Jones falls to 15 to New England. I called that back in February. I made a graphic. I put it out on social media yesterday, but I made that graphic back in February. I sent it to a couple of my buddies, and they were like, do you really think that's going to happen? And I said yes. Then when San Francisco trades, I changed my mind, but now Mac Jones to 15. I called it very, very early. I may honestly have that in our first mock draft. So not 100%, but I may have to go back and look at that. Zaven Collins at 16. That was a really big surprise. They need a D lineman. They need some help at the corner to help Patrick Peterson. They need a weapon for Kyler at tight end, I think. But again, the tight ends here aren't really anybody that spectacular, somebody that's worth going in the first round. So Zaven Collins made sense. Zaven Collins is really slept on, really, really slept on. He's going to play at Tulsa, going to open up a lot of eyes. I really like that pick. Alex Leatherwood to the Las Vegas Raiders, probably going to be blocking for Aaron Rodgers in a little bit. You heard it here from TPA. Me and Matthew both say that. Alex Leatherwood was a really good veteran tight end. He knows how to win. And Mike Mayock and John Gruden both love Alabama guys. We all know that, especially in Clemson as well. Jalen Phillips stays in Miami, goes to the Miami Dolphins. That's a good pick. I didn't expect them to go edge this early, but now that they did, I'm expecting them to go tackle at 36. Given that Walker Little, Tevin Jenkins, Dylan Redunds, there's still a lot of good tackles left, and I believe there's also a few guards as well. Landon Dickerson, Wyatt Davis, Creed Humphrey. There's a lot of good guys that the Miami Dolphins can still beef up their O-line a little bit. Jamin Davis, I think, was kind of the surprise of the draft, going to 19 to Ron Rivera. Ron Rivera said he was their number one defensive player on the board in their eyes. Jamin Davis is a really, really good linebacker. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I think he's going to make an immediate impact on that defense. Going to be kind of a guy that they can put different places and make plays, which is going to help out Washington a lot. They still need a quarterback, still need a wide receiver. I don't really understand why they didn't take Tony Bateman or Elijah Moore or somebody like that, but it works out. It definitely works out for them. So next we have the New York Giants, who end up taking Kadarius Toney. I didn't expect them to go Toney, but again, like I said earlier with Jalen Waddle, he's more of a playmaker than he is a wide receiver. Really good guy. Going to help that room out a lot. Colts take Kwity Paye. I think everybody kind of knew that the Colts were going to go defense, because that was what killed them this year, was inconsistency on defense. They have their quarterback in Carson Wentz. They have weapons. They have a great running back in Jonathan Taylor. They're pretty much set. The Titans at 22 select Caleb Farley, cornerback from Virginia Tech. They still need a wide receiver, but this wide receiver class is very, very deep still. You still have Elijah Moore, Terrace Marshall, Rondale Moore, Diami Brown, Kay Johnson, Jalen Darden, St. Brown, Tyler Wallace. It goes on and on. Nico Collins from Michigan, Seth Williams, Amari Rogers. This wide receiver class is deep. Who's that? Titans. Okay. Again, I touched on the Vikings earlier. They still get a guy that they would have got at 14 anyway. So they, beef up extra picks out of that. Najee Harris. I think every mock draft had Najee Harris going to Pittsburgh at 24 to replace James Conner. There we go. Came to me. Travis Etienne is probably the question mark of the draft. The only reason I see them grabbing him this early is so nobody else would. On top of that, I see them grabbing a tackle here at 33, just like I think the Dolphins will as well. Greg Newsome to the Browns. I think a lot of people expect them to go linebacker, but the fact that Greg Newsome was available, it's going to help them out a lot. You put him on the other side of Greg Ward. You have two great defensive ends. Now, the Browns are going to be scary, very scary this year. First pick of the Baltimore Ravens, Rashad Bateman fills the void. Everybody kind of expected that, especially since he was available. Peyton Turner goes to the Saints. That's very questionable. I think the only reason they go right here is because the cornerbacks available. You had Eric Stokes, Asante Samuel, Jevon Holland, Aaron Robinson, Thomas Graham from Oregon as well. Maybe a few more guys that might have fit that spot, but I don't really. I don't love any of the corners in this draft. Or at this point in the draft. I think they're all pretty much even. You could go basically wherever you want. So I do like the Peyton Turner pick. He's really, really good defensive end. And if I'm not mistaken, they lost the end, so this is going to help replace that and help that defense. Eric Stokes to Green Bay. Green Bay is just, it's a dumpster fire. I don't think it really matters what they do the rest of the draft. Aaron Rodgers is gone. Jordan Love is not going to win you games. And there you go. And it sucks for Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones as well, who just re-signed. Because now you're losing Aaron Rodgers, and I guarantee you Aaron Jones would have not re-signed if he knew Aaron Rodgers wants out. Gregory Rousseau to the Bills, again, makes sense. Jason Away to Baltimore makes a lot of sense as well. And then Joe Tryon from Washington, questionable to say the least. I don't really know why they would pick him. I guess because he's an edge linebacker hybrid. But nonetheless, I don't really understand that pick. I didn't expect them to make that pick. But then again, you return all 22 starters, you return AB, you return all your coordinators, you return like 16 of your top offensive players, 21 of your top defensive players. Like, you don't even need to draft anybody. But nonetheless, guys, that's the day one recap. Again, like I said, I'm going to be putting out a video later today of a draft round 2 mock, and then going more in depth on a couple teams, maybe the Dolphins. Probably guys with a lot of two picks, the Jaguars, the Jets, things like that. If you have a team you want me to cover more in depth, just leave it in the comment section below, and I will be sure to get that out to you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Hit that subscribe button and follow us on all social media. Thanks, guys.